Something's gone cold in the Blake Lively empire. For years, she was untouchable, red carpet darling, gossip girl royalty, queen of I don't need a stylist chic. Married to Hollywood's golden boy and turning Instagram into her own personal fashion runway. But now, something's off. Whispers have turned into side eyes into headlines. And now, it's starting to look like Blake Lively is being blacklisted. You heard that right. Not officially, not with press statements or hashtags. This isn't a scandalous takedown, it's something colder, more calculated, a slow freeze. And the elephant in the room? The Justin Baldoni lawsuit. Because when Baldoni clapped back with receipts, a whole lot of people started rethinking their loyalty to Blake. For those not caught up, Justin Baldoni filed a lawsuit alleging serious defamation and interference tied to Blake and her team. At first, it looked like just another celebrity spat, maybe a little dramatic, but nothing earth-shattering. But then, Baldoni brought the evidence, and it wasn't flimsy. We're talking emails, documents, patterns of behavior. He didn't just say he was innocent, he showed it. And suddenly, the court of public opinion started shifting. 1 minute, Blake was the misunderstood creative. The next, she looked like the mastermind behind a whisper campaign. A woman pulling PR strings while pretending to be above it all. And people noticed? That lawsuit might have been dismissed, but the damage was done. Baldoni walked out with his head high and in the court of public opinion is the winner. Blake, on the other hand, walked out quieter than ever. And that silence? It's been deafening. Especially in an industry built on noise. The first real red flag came with My Husband's Secret, a prestige adaptation of a best-selling novel. Blake was set to star and executive produce. It was supposed to be her Big Little Lies moment. A meaty, nuanced lead in a female-driven story. The kind of role that rebrands you from fashion icon to award season threat. It was announced in 2017. It's now 2025. And nothing's happened. Actually, worse than nothing. Leanne Moriarty, the author of the novel, recently went on Australian radio and said Blake is detached from the project. Detached, that word again. Not replaced, not recast, just removed from the picture, like a name scratched off a guest list in pencil. Her IMDb still claims she's involved, but behind the scenes, the energy is very much thanks but no thanks. And fans? They're catching on. The timing is almost poetic. Days after the It Ends With Us premiere, where Blake casually revealed her husband rewrote a major scene in the movie, the backlash exploded. And so did the quiet collapse of her industry credibility. Because here's the tea. That scene wasn't his to rewrite. Christy Hall, the screenwriter, was blindsided. Imagine being on the red carpet for your own film and finding out, on camera, that someone's husband hijacked one of your most important scenes. It wasn't just rude, it was humiliating. And Blake? She tried to fix it the only way she knows how, with a perfectly worded, emotionally distant Instagram note. She called it an apology. But it was more of a love letter to Ryan and a paragraph of damage control aimed at Christy. Basically, sorry you're upset, but my husband is amazing and I'm so blessed. The industry saw through it. Instantly. Because here's what people in Hollywood understand better than anyone. Intent doesn't matter. Optics do, and Blake's optics were giving entitled out-of-touch starlet realness. Christy Hall, still quietly working, still respected. Blake, being quietly iced out of her own projects. Coincidence? Not likely. And it doesn't end there. Sources close to the project say the film's producers were deeply uncomfortable with the narrative Blake tried to spin after the backlash. Instead of owning it, she doubled down, painted herself as the misunderstood victim. And that kind of energy? It doesn't age well in boardrooms. Especially when your job is to lead a female-driven film about moral ambiguity, emotional intelligence, and ironically, secrets. Now Blake's in this weird limbo. She's not canceled. She's trending, but not in the way she wants. She's just fading. Elegantly ignored. Even her public appearances feel desperate now. Showing up to book signings for authors she barely knows. Promoting indie novels like she's suddenly a literary girly, and dragging Ryan into the frame to add legitimacy. At one recent event, Blake posed with Katie Sturino, a body positivity influencer turned author. The vibes were, look at me supporting women, But the internet wasn't buying it. Fans flooded the comments asking why anyone would associate with her right now. And guess what? The photos disappeared. Blink, and they were gone. Deleted? Never posted to the grid? Who knows? But what we do know is this: the damage is real. And even Ryan Reynolds isn't likable enough anymore to take the heat off of her. Insiders say Ryan's team has been urging him to distance himself, keep things low-key, focus on his own projects, because Blake's mess, it's starting to splash. It didn't help that she once publicly claimed she'd never heard a single negative story about Harvey Weinstein. No one believed her then. Even fewer people believe her now. That quote alone has aged like sour milk. Especially considering her longtime publicist, Leslie Sloan, used to work directly with Weinstein. Their PR firm was bankrolled by him, and when the receipts came out, Leslie distanced herself. Blake, meanwhile, gave us the world's most tone-deaf response: "I believe in humanity." Whatever that means. And the Hollywood whisper machine is loud right now. They're saying Blake gives difficult but polished. The type who micromanages the costume department but tells Vogue she doesn't use a stylist. The type who rewrites scenes behind closed doors, then smiles sweetly at the wrap party. The type who calls herself low maintenance, while having assistants cut the tags off her clothes so she can pretend she's still a size 0. She doesn't scream. She doesn't throw tantrums. She just makes you never want to work with her again. And that kind of reputation? It sticks. Quietly. Permanently. So what's Blake doing now? She's pretending everything's fine. Still posting curated content, still calling herself a mom first, still pushing that pseudo-relatable image of a Hollywood starlet who just loves baking and books and being goofy. But her latest projects? Ghost towns? That skincare brand she teased? Crickets. That new film with a strong female lead? Pulled funding. And that literary adaptation she was going to star in and produce? Dead in the water. People are asking, where's the comeback? Where's the momentum? It's not coming. Because Blake Lively isn't the girl everyone's rooting for anymore. She's the girl you smile at politely in the room, while trying to figure out a way to ghost her without giving he anything to stab you in the back with. She's become a warning, a cautionary tale, of what happens when you mistake good branding for good behavior, when you think being clever on Instagram is enough to build an empire. She had the world at her feet. And now? She's standing alone, in designer heels, at an event no one's live streaming, smiling for cameras that barely care. Blake Lively hasn't fallen. Not dramatically, not publicly. But make no mistake, Hollywood is done waiting for her to catch up. And the scariest part? She doesn't even know it yet.